Welcome to Sovereign Tarot, where we unite our Hierophant with our High Priestess to create peace, love, and joy in our inner realms through conscious presence. And yes, I did read that. I'm trying to integrate it. Okay, so we're going to start out with A Course in Miracles, and we are on lesson 1 for each sign today. We're doing Libra and Scorpio, and so I'm going to start with Libra, and this reading will be for Libra. I'll do a separate reading for Scorpio, and it's Wednesday, December 24th, but whenever this reading finds you, that's the right time for you. And if it's right for you, it should resonate. You should feel it in you. However, sometimes when things aren't integrated, we may not recognize them right away. So just hold that thought too. So this is for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Lesson 1, A Course in Miracles. Nothing I see in this room, from this window, in this place, means anything. Now look slowly around you and practice applying this idea very specifically to whatever you see. This table does not mean anything. This chair does not mean anything. This hand does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. This pen does not mean anything. This cat does not mean anything. This person does not mean anything. And just let that settle into you. A Course in Miracles is helping uncover your true essence, your true nature, who you really are. So I start my Sovereign Tarot with A Course in Miracles as guidance into your inner realms. And then we are going to start with a card from the Divine Beloved as a little prayer or intention to start us out, to set the tone. And I will be getting a camera where you'll be able to see my cards, but right now we're going to work with what we have. Okay. We got 3. We got Strength. And we got Competition. And we got Heart. So I'm going to read them all, and you can do whatever it is when you pray. I was raised Catholic, so I do in the name of the Father, and I would add Mother, in the name of the Father and Mother, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Strength, I lean on you. Make me ready to call on you in even the most confusing situations, large or small. Let me include you, God. May I lean on your strength, knowing your grace can unravel any dilemma. Competition, I am yours alone. Change me, Divine Beloved, into one who can trust that you alone are the source for all. Free me from the illusion of scarcity and competition. Let me trust that all needs are always richly met. I am yours alone. And Heart, I allow love to lead. Change me, Divine Beloved, into one who can allow love to lead my life. May I offer myself completely to the highest, so all may occur as needed. Grant me peace and contentment wherever I am. Use me for the greatest good. Amen, and so it is, and so we remember. Okay, those are interesting cards, right? So I just set them up at the top and I turn them upright, and I put them up against a cup. So they're kind of framing our whole reading. And what I usually find is that everything integrates and relates back, which I love. It's like an artistic piece for me when everything integrates and comes together. Okay, so next I want to get a card from the archetypes. So for my Libras, Libra has a very special place in my heart because my boyfriend is a Libra. And you are all about balance and love and relationship and connection. A very special sign. I have a little congestion. How about you? Congestion is when there's a lot of noise. Okay. And we got Judge. So this is like an archetype or story that we're working with. We only got one, so we're going to just work with that one. Balancing, oh, look, it's a Libra card too. This is a Libra card. Balancing justice and compassion. Managing the fair distribution of power. Okay, and the shadow attributes are offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. I'm just wondering how that goes together, but... Okay, managing the fair distribution of power. Okay, let's see what else we get. Okay. So now we're going to get right into the tarot, and we're going to do a Celtic cross. Balancing justice and compassion. Managing the fair distribution of power. So thinking about this in terms of your inner realms, how are you judging yourself? Are you offering only destructive criticism? Are you trying to find the bad guy? Okay, ooh, we got the High Priestess. Okay, the High Priestess, and she's upside down though, so let's put her down. So that's representing you right now. And then it's crossed by the Nine of Swords. Yeah, that is criticism. So that's like self-criticism. Interesting. So your higher self is speaking to you, and you might, the congestion is like you might not be hearing her because you're criticizing. Your inner criticism is getting in the way. Your inner critic. Okay, and then down below you have the sun, and that's what's that's like what's rising up in you underneath the surface. Your inner light is trying to shine up through you. It's upside down though. And the Nine of Cups is in the back, and that's upside down also. Is behind you. But it's upside down. So we'll find out more information about that in a minute. But that's like, what's the word that I'm looking for? It'll come to me. And above you, you have the Emperor, but he is also upside down. I'm putting him right on top of the Judge. So we're going to work with the energies. We're going to do a little bit of constellations with the energies. I am a facilitator of family constellations. It's about working with energy and moving energy. Usually thinking about it as a family system, but it goes back into your ancestral stories and patterns, and you can look at those patterns through people or I use papers also when it's one person that I'm working with to represent the different family members or parts of self. And we can look at where they are at by just feeling into them and what needs to move. What needs to speak and what needs to move. Okay, so let's see what else wants to come out right in front of us. Okay, and we have the Seven of Cups. So there's some kind of decision that you're trying to make, and it's I think you're having a hard time because of all of the criticism and noise and congestion. So that needs to get cleared somehow. And it may be by just observing those thoughts, maybe taking a walk outside and just letting them speak, you know, listening to them, taking a step back and listening to them. You are not your thoughts. Nope, we're not taking all of those. Okay. Oh gosh, we got a Tower. Don't be afraid of the Tower. Some things need to fall, so you might be ready for this thing to fall. Whatever it is. It could be like a way of being in the world. You know, you're just done being that way in the world. Nine of Wands. For me, what's falling is taking care of others before I take care of myself. So that's not a bad thing to fall. Okay, what's trying to happen here? Hold on a second. We also got, so we got a Nine of Wands, and that's what's influencing the situation. Oops. Okay, a Chariot. And a Seven of Wands. I think the Seven of Wands comes before the Chariot, I think, because that fell out first. Seven of Wands. I just didn't see it. Okay. So we got two sevens, Seven of Wands, and the Chariot is a seven. A Seven of Cups, three sevens. Those are very spiritual numbers. And we got the major arcana cards of the High Priestess, the Sun, the Tower, and the Chariot, and the Emperor. So we got a lot of big energies that want to move. Okay, so let's look at the High Priestess. She's upside down. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an affirmation to turn her right side up. But let's find out what might be going on with that. A fear of intuitive abilities, not paying attention to your inner voice. Okay, and that makes sense because it's crossed by the Nine of Swords, which is criticism. Being hard on yourself. Okay, so, but we're going to turn it right side up because we're going to say, I have the answers I seek, and by following the truth, I will find them. And don't worry, that's very strong in you. It's very strong in you. Okay. And then the Sun down beneath is also upside down. So let's see what that affirmation is, what we want to say to write that. First, we need to recognize and acknowledge that it's upside down. So that's delays, negative mindset, self-doubt, or lack of confidence, a need to tune out of a negative mindset and to find inspiration. So that might be what's the Tower that's going to fall, is that Tower of like being abusive to yourself, not like that negative self-talk. that offering destructive criticism for yourself. I went back to the Judge. So instead, we're going to say, I am whole. I am more than enough. I shine like the sun when I am happy. And let that be our foundation. Our joy and happiness. Let that be the truth that leads us. Okay, so we have the Nine of Cups in the past. And that is also upside down. So let's just see what that is. Upside down. Delayed gratification, unfulfilled desires, unmanifested dreams, greed blocking your path, not appreciating the simple things in life, smugness. So, okay, so that's really about not appreciating where you are, being present and appreciating where you are. So that really does speak to, it's a focus on the negative. So you can see how it's all working, like the message is pretty clear. Okay, so we're going to turn it right side up. Even though it is in the past, we're going to say, I open my grateful heart to the gifts that are coming my way. And we are going to be grateful for what we have today. I started out this reading saying that I didn't have a camera that could see my cards. And I said, and we're just going to be happy for what, I didn't say that, but I said we're going to just move forward with what we have. And I think that's the message for you, is move forward with what you have. It is enough. You are enough. Okay, so then we have the Emperor above us. This is the Emperor. This is the energy coming down from Spirit. That it's a masculine energy, and it wants you to take charge of the situation, which is interesting because you have the Seven of Cups next, which is where you're like, this is basically the energy that you're moving into, and it's making a decision. And that is right side up, but it's, you see, he doesn't know what he wants to do, or he thinks he doesn't know, but in fact, he does know. So we're going to look at the Emperor, and we're going to turn the Emperor right side up once we acknowledge what the Emperor wants to tell us upside down. My energy is very soft today in this reading, and I think it's interesting because it's I feel like the energy matches the signs. Like I am channeling spirit, or it's not really that deep. I mean, it's really who we all are. And once you come into that integrity of self, that alignment with your higher self, you realize it's not really all that. It's very grounded. It's still magical. It just, it isn't really as out there as you would think. Okay. So the upside down Emperor is unchecked power, but I don't think that's what it is. I'm going to read all these first. Being overly pragmatic and rigid. I think that's what it is. And a desire for control. Okay. So it's really accepting that you don't know right now the bigger picture. You don't know where any of this inner intuition and inner knowing is going to lead you. And it's being okay with that. So we're going to turn it right side up, and we're going to say, I lead the circumstances in my world with confidence, harmony, and generosity. You don't know where you're going yet, but you know how to be in the world, and you know how to lead with love. I'm going back to our card from the beginning. Change me, divine beloved, into one who can allow love to lead my life. May I offer myself completely to the highest, so all may occur as needed. Grant me peace and contentment wherever I am. Use me for the greatest good. Okay, So I do want to get a little more from the Seven of Cups for you. Yeah. So this is really thinking that you don't know which cup to choose when you do know which cup to choose. My wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down-to-earth way. Okay, so the Tower. Now we're going to move into, so that was all the spiritual realm. Now we're going to move into the human realm of what actions we can take here on Earth and what, how things might look in the earthly realm. So that was all like basically the spiritual realm. Okay, so in the earthly realm, there's a tower falling. Something maybe unexpected happening. Unexpected change, chaos, the rug pulled from beneath your feet, beliefs challenged, new awareness and perspectives, destruction, being unsure of who you are. And the affirmation for this is, well, I'm going to read you the whole thing because I don't want you to be afraid of this card. I was afraid of this card. I got this card when I got my divorce. When I was getting my divorce, it kept coming up for me. But that turned out to be the best thing that I could have done, is to get that divorce. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have, that marriage was, you know, that there weren't beautiful times in that marriage and that he wasn't a beautiful person. He just chose differently than me in the end. But we had a beautiful life together, and you may have had a beautiful career, this may not be a big thing. It could be a big thing like your career or your partner in life, but it could also just be a way of being in the world. Like, instead of choosing obligations and what everyone else tells you is right, it's choosing what you believe and know to be right for you. Okay. So in chaos, I move toward the brightest light. Okay, and then we have right above that, what's influencing that is the Nine of Wands. Like what you might be seeing in the world. Actually, I'm going to move the Chariot and the Seven of Wands. I don't think that was in the right order. I'm going to go with my original order. So the Chariot's going to come before the Seven of Wands, but we're on the Nine of Wands right now. So Wands are fire energy. They're okay. So it seems that there is some like excitement and energy about what's to come, that you want to take this road, but you're a little you're scared, and your criticism and self-doubt are coming in because you're scared. Fear is coming up for you. So when that fear comes up, just acknowledge it. It's been coming up for me. It came up for me last night and this morning. And it comes up sometimes as a saboteur, like it wants to, it's trying to sabotage me. But I'm in this place where I wanted to meet my saboteur, and I wanted to say, hey, I want to get to know you better. I want to understand you. I believe that you're trying to protect me, and I want us to work together. I want to hear your message. So acknowledge that fear. I feel you afraid. This is scary. The world is telling you not to do it that way. Don't go that way. Don't do that. The world is telling you that. So it's scary to risk that. Just acknowledge that. Validate that for yourself. Like I just did right there. And what do you need to care for this? What do you need me to do? It might be just sit with it and hold it. You are safe. It is safe for you to be who you are, who you really are. The world needs you to be that. You need you to be that. Move towards your joy and your happiness. Your happiness is going to ignite the world. You see, she's got her torch there. Okay, and for an affirmation for that is, I push beyond my own perceived limitations. I remain open and trusting as I do. And then this chariot energy is in the position of maybe the fear or the worry. There's a fear or worry about taking the reins in your own life and about maybe moving too fast. So let's just read a little bit about that. That was right side up. I choose who I am becoming, and I run toward it with conviction and consistent motion. Okay, that consistent motion has been coming up for me too, because what was coming up for me with my fear was, how is this going to be different? You know, how is this going to be different than before? Am I willing to risk this again? Like, it just feels like, yeah, basically, how is this going to be different than before? I need this to be different. We need this to be different. So answer that for yourself. How is this going to be different? I choose who I am becoming. I know I read that already, but I choose who I am becoming, and I run toward it with conviction and consistent motion. But that's the fear. Maybe the fear is running towards it. That's what I was having a fear of. Okay, let's not run towards it. Let's canter towards it. Let's canter towards it. 7 of Wands is the final outcome. So you're recognizing that there's something that you need to choose and take consistent motion towards. And you're having a little bit of time to go inwards and look at, like, what is different, and grounding yourself, protecting yourself, movement and growth. So it's still movement and growth, the 7 of Wands. Still movement and growth. A sign to continue to share your ideas and self-expression. I am deserving of this success, and I will bravely shine my light into the world. See how it all came together? It all came together. Okay. So I just want to close with one of the cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle. And I'm keeping this at about a half an hour or 30 minutes, which is, that's good. That's where I want to keep it. Between 20 and 30 minutes. Maybe it's going to go a little bit over, but that's okay. This is a time where you can just be present with yourself and with the energy of the cards and your higher self. The union of your Hierophant and your High Priestess. Ooh, and you got yin and energy. So that balances the energy of the masculine, the emperor. This yin energy is the receptive feminine energy. Okay, 2. And that's you're receiving from the high priestess. You're receiving that information and that guidance from the high priestess. That's what you want to do right now. It's informing your course of action, where you take the reins of your chariot. Okay. The feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. Conscious allowing. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. Yin does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. Do you hear that? That's hammering of nails. Or maybe not hammering, but nails. My boyfriend is building walls in the basement. And I say that to you because everything in a reading means something. And what I was thinking before this reading was how before those walls went up, those walls were, you can actually see progress. When you start to see walls, you see progress. But before those walls went up, so much other work had to go into this, like the electricity, the pipes for the plumbing, the foundational systems had to go in for a toilet, for a shower. So a lot of times we don't see all of the things that have to come before we see something in the world. We have to be able to do all this inner work before we see the results of our work in the outer world. And I believe that you've been doing that. And you're on the verge of seeing the results of all of the inner work that you've done. Okay. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you'll see how quickly your dreams manifest. And the relationship message is, let others take the lead right now. Your power lies in small gestures, soft awareness, and conscious surrender. By yielding the reins, you will find yourself effortlessly moving closer to what you truly desire. Permit others to tell you who they are and who they can be to you by allowing their actions to speak about them. You will be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so there's a little bit of contradiction in that, and I just want to acknowledge that, and this is very Libra. But your emperor is saying, your high priestess is sending you information, intuition, your inner knowing. You know what's right for you. You know what you want. And your emperor is saying that too, that you know what you want. But the world is going to give you something, the gift of what you've been asking for. And you just need to be able to receive that and make a choice on that. So do you get that balance between the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine energy? It's the clarity and the inner knowing that you have control over. You have control over knowing what you want, what you're willing to accept, and what you're not willing to accept. And then you're going to receive something from the world, from the universe. And you decide what you want to do with that, where you want to take that. It's an answer to a prayer that you've been sending out, to that inner work that you've been doing, what you've been asking for. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have for you for today.